Hello, everybody, and welcome to Terrifying Tuesday, where we talk about all things horror. And today we have to talk about another rebooted movie. We're going to be doing a non spoiler review of Children of the Corn 2023. So let's go ahead and jump right into that. Okay, so the path to this movie is a little bit longer than expected. It began in 2020, but then got held up. Then, Shudder had gained distribution rights, and then it received an 18-day theatrical release on March 3rd of this year. It was supposed to release on Shudder March 21st. Now, I don't know if it did or not because that's not how I saw the latest Children of the Corn movie, but maybe it is on Shudder by now. The plot is focusing on this young girl who lives in the town who decides that the parents, the grown-ups, don't have everyone's best interest in mind. It's typical in terms of a Children of the Corn movie that way. So she rises up and builds an army that then slaughters all the adults. You know this plot. The movie differs from previous interpretations in that it does take a more supernatural feel to it. It really does lean into this whole there could be a creature that lives in the corn. And this creature is somehow involved or maybe brought to life by the people. That part you'll have to decipher for yourself as you watch the movie. But overall, the movie is very different from previous incarnations, and that is probably for the best. Some of the sequels of Children of the Corn have actually been pretty bad, but this coming from someone who finds them all to be a little bit of a guilty pleasure and watches all of the sequels. When I do binge the Children of the Corn franchise, I watch them all. One thing that this movie does really different is that there isn't an adult that comes to the rescue. The closest thing we get to a hero in the movie is another teenage girl who doesn't agree with our main villain. And the question becomes, will this girl actually be able to save the day or not? So it's really different to see them go away from the whole adult coming to the rescue of the children in the Children of the Corn movies. I think that it's something that they could have done a lot earlier. It's more terrifying to see these children do these things and actually get to see this origin story without some adult coming to the rescue. I think it's really, really a good choice on their part. The little girl in the movie is utterly terrifying. The little girl in question is named Eden, and she sees herself as the Red Queen, which I find just absolutely funny. And it works for this movie very well. The little girl grows increasingly more and more evil as time goes on. Somehow, children in movies have this way of being evil in a way that adults can never hope for. And this movie kind of does that part right. I actually like her better than I like some of the evil children in the previous Children of the Corn movies. And the fact that this one is sort of a reboot of the entire franchise actually leaves me hoping that it spawns a few sequels. I would like to see where this version of events goes. Now, of course, you have some critics that didn't like the movie. It got a bad score apparently on Rotten Tomatoes, but I put no stock in what Rotten Tomatoes has to say. Rotten Tomatoes kind of spoils itself. Rotten Tomatoes seems to be that place to go to hate on a film for a lot of cases, like the bigger films and the bigger franchises. you go in and you sort of hate on them, and that seems to be the overall view of Rotten Tomatoes, at least as I see it, because every franchise that I look at on Rotten Tomatoes, they just absolutely butcher the movie. They tell you how horrible it is. And I can't really speak for some of the movies that aren't sequels because like I said, I don't take too much stock in Rotten Tomatoes at all. And this movie is the exact reason I don't. The acting in this movie is actually pretty good. The younger kids in the movie really do sell the reason and the motive for why they're doing it. The adults in the town are corrupt. The adults in the town are not taking care of them the way they should be. And for this reason, they grow tired of it. Now, their methods are extreme, but there is a lot of times where you could find yourself sympathizing with the cause of some of these kids. Some of the kids, I should say. Because there's a whole subtext here where you don't get to know every single one of these children, but you look at the way they are looking at the screen, and you can kind of ask yourself why they choose to follow Eden into battle, why they choose to follow her into this cause. And the cause is to just take over the town and eventually, like in all Children of the Corn movies, eventually maybe even take over the world. The movie does offer up a good amount of gore. I will say that they don't leave you hanging in terms of gore and special effects. They actually try to do it somewhat well. There are some effects in the movie that don't land the way I think they really hoped they would, but I don't think this movie had an amazing budget to begin with. This movie isn't the greatest movie ever, but I do feel it has its moments and it is worth seeing if you like the older movies. So I give it 3 stars, and it's especially one to watch if you enjoyed the previous films. Even if you found them laughable and sort of made fun of them a la Mystery Science Fiction Theater while you were watching them, it still is a nice nostalgic feel to go back to a plot you know so well. That's one reason I think reboots and remakes do so good. Is the ones who have seen the movies before will compare and contrast how the movies have done, and the people who haven't seen them, they go back and watch some of the originals and see the same guilty pleasure type of stuff that you found in the originals to begin with. But anyway, the movie, if it is on Shudder, is worth checking out. Or if it happens to be in the dollar bin at your local Walmart or your Dollar Tree or whatever, then definitely pick it up. You could do a lot worse than this if you have nothing to watch. It does have some funny moments. It does have some gory moments. And overall, I personally would like to see where they go with this film. So 3 stars, and I want to know what you guys think. So we want to know what you guys think, so make sure to leave us a comment in the comment box below. Make sure to share this video with all of your friends so that they can be part of the conversation as well. Then don't forget to smash that like button as hard as you can. It helps the channel and we appreciate it. It's free. And then Miko says we need more subscribers. And you don't want to disappoint Miko. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss a single video we do. And then friends, at the end of the day, I know it. You know it. Miko knows it. Fandom is family.